Okay guys, so today we are going to discussing SQL Server Authentication login. How to add one login with SQL Server Authentication. Only SQL Server Authentication, no Windows Authentications. We are not going to use that Windows Authentication for that login today. So now, how do we add a user, add a login, or else add an account? One simple account to this in this SQL Server. See, now we have the security folder and we have the logins. Under these logins, I am going to add one user. But when I am going to add that user, I am not going to say that is like a Sujit. Last session guys, we saw that Sujit, we created this user in a Windows control panel and we added that same user over here. But this time, I am not going to add the users which we created under control panel under the list of the users. I am going to create my own one account name here, one login name and one password. I will set it up here. So right click and say new login, and this time I am not going to take the usernames from the Windows authentication. I don't want to perform Windows authentication for these accounts. I want to create one logins only with the SQL Server authentication. So we are going to selecting only SQL Server authentication login. That means this login is only required SQL Server authentication. So just it is not going to perform by Windows authentication. Let's create one username, any name guys. You can give, let's say Mike. I given the username Mike and enter the password, some password for this Mike. And here this is what password policies guys, as per the company policies there will be password policies, and there will be password expiration policies. Password policy means minimum length of the password and one capital letter, one number, one special character. That is what the policies of the password. Password expiration means every 2 months the passwords will expire. That is what the rule of the company. So they will set up these rules in a Active Directory level guys. That is what group policy something is there. So they will set it up all this over there, but usually it is not our work how to set these policies, all that. But if you select these boxes, those policies will be applied for this user as well. And when the user is trying to connecting to this SQL server first time, it will prompt him to change the password as well. See that user must change the password at the next login. So anyway, so I am not going to select all this because we are not doing these things in our local systems. And so now I type one username and I selected SQL Server authentication and I selected only password and say connect and say OK. So when I say OK, that SQL authenticator login will get created. So when I say OK, this SQL authenticator login will get created here. Guys. So now here I am going to say OK. Let's say OK. So now you see that we got the mic here. We got the mic. And sir, how do I connect? By using this mic. I want connect to SQL server using this mic and password. The password I given. So let's say that. So now I click on this connect button guys again. Click on connect button. And now I am connecting to this same SQL server using SQL server authentication. So that means now here let's enter the same name mic and the password of this mic. And say connect. So this time this SQL server will not check whether this user is there in a Windows level or not. It will not check because we are saying that this is the user will be performed only, it will be authenticated only by SQL server. So in this case, this user is only authenticated by SQL server only. It is not going to authenticate by Windows level. That means this user no need to be there in a domain level and no need to be there in a Windows control panel level. No need to be there. So when we selected this option authentication, SQL Server authentication means that user, whatever the account name we mentioned here, that login name should be there inside SQL Server under the logins. It is the same password. Then SQL Server will authenticate. Okay, he is the right person. Let him allow to connect to me. Let's say connect. So now you see here, still it is getting failed. Guys, why? Why it is getting failed? So because we added that user not here. We added that user here. Already we added that user here, but still it is getting failed. Why? The reason is by default we set up this server, this SQL server. By default we set up this SQL server saying that allow only Windows authenticated users to connect to it. Don't allow SQL server authenticated users to connect to it. Then what is that, sir? Then how do we do this? So now see here guys, while adding the login to the SQL server, if you select Windows authentication, the username should be there in a local system or domain controller. That usernames will be like this. If you select a SQL server authentication, the login name no need to be there in a Windows user. It's not no need to be there in a Windows site. And the login, just consider it as a simple login getting created in a SQL server with a password. Set the password and it's a policies. Okay, this is fine. And configure SQL server to allow the users to connect to SQL server by using SQL server authentication. So right now guys, this SQL server is not configured to allow users, this type of users, SQL server authenticated users. It is not yet configured to allow this type of users to connect to it. Then how do we configure this one? So for that we have written the notes here. Right click on the server, go to the properties, go to the security, select the option SQL server and Windows authentication mode. We have to set this SQL server to allow both type of authenticated users. And you see that guys, there are some companies, in that company it will not allow anyone except employees. It will not allow anyone, even not for the interview, because that is R&D. That is one of the R&D center. In that R&D center, they don't conduct interviews. There are no vendors in that building or in that tech park. They don't allow any outside person. They are only employees. That's it. If you are the employee, I will allow. If you are not employee, no way. No way. So similar to that. So in this SQL server, only Windows authenticated people only I am going to allow to connect to it. So that's how by default it is the setting up guys. So go to the properties and go to the security, and you see that SQL server authentication is only Windows authentication mode. That's it. That means only Windows authenticated people only can connect to it, not other people. How do you do this now? If you select this one, second option, so now it will allow both type of users, Windows authenticated users as well as SQL server authenticated users. You have to select this as second option guys, and say OK. When you say OK, so now it is asking us to restart the SQL server service. Let's go ahead and say OK and restart the SQL server service. How we are going to restart SQL server service? Go to configuration manager. So I am going to type in a search bar configuration. Just click configuration and we can see that SQL server configuration. Open that one and say yes. So now I am going to start this SQL server service. Restart that. That's it. Which one? Learn SQL. This SQL server service I am going to restart. Right click and say restart. It is going to restarting now. It is now going to restarting this SQL server service. So now this is restarted. Learn SQL it is restarted. So now guys we are going to see. So let's refresh. Now let's try to connect. After restart, we set up that option, SQL Server and Windows authentication option in the security. We set up this option. Now onwards it will start allow the people to connect to it by using SQL Server authentication. Let's type that username Mike and it's a password. We created this login and password inside SQL Server under logins and say connect. So now see here, Mike is connected. So this is how the SQL Server authenticated users. Mike is a SQL Server authenticated user. I connected to Learn SQL by using Mike account, Mike username and password. And say that now in the databases, now we need to grant access to this Mike, the login Mike. Okay, whoever knows the username Mike and its password, they can connect to these databases. They can connect to this SQL server and they can access the databases. But Mike is not having access to any of these databases. So just now we created that login, so we have not granted any access to this Mike on these databases. So now see here we are getting the error messages. We can't access any of these databases. How do we grant access to the Mike? We discussed in yesterday's session how we granted access to the Sujit in the same way. And who? This is the CH Reddy. Guys, this is the session. This is the connection connected by CH Reddy. So this CH Reddy is having complete access on the SQL server. So he is only the person can grant access to other people. So let's go to the logins and Mike is here. Right click on the Mike. Go to the properties of that Mike. And here go to the user mappings. Don't do any of these password changes and all, guys. Go to user mapping, and there we can see the list of the databases and select the database on which database you want grant. On the database D1, I want grant just read access. In the database DBA02, not this, 701, I want grant read access. And 62, I want grant read access. On these databases, I am going to grant just read access, guys, on all these databases. Select that database and say data reader. And next select another database and say data reader. And select other database and say data reader. Wait for a moment, guys. Okay. So select that. As soon as when you select that database will appear here. Then you can say reader. You see that I am going to add access to this mic user on all these databases. That too only read access. Data reader means read access. Say okay. Now it is connecting. So now it is granted the access. So let's move on to that. So now let disconnect this mic and let connect back again. So click on this connect, and again you can connect back, or else you can okay, let me connect it again, no problem, and say connect. So as we connected, let's go to the databases and we can start guaranteeing access. So now it's already access is there. Now we can start accessing these databases, but only for read access, not any other access is not possible here. And go to this database, we can able. So now this is, mic is access able to we see what is there inside database, and you can run the select command, that is for read access. This is what SQL authenticated users. So this is what, guys, we done this. Then after, all users can connect to SQL server by using Windows authenticated as well as SQL authenticated logins. So Windows authenticated logins are more secure than SQL server authenticated logins. The reason is, when we are going to connecting to this SQL server by using Windows authentication, first it will verify whether this user is there in Windows level or not, and then after again it will verify, again it will perform SQL server authentication also. This user chid should be there inside that security folder, inside security, inside logins, it should be there. That means when we selected Windows authentication, here two authentications are happening, Windows authentication plus SQL server authentication also happening. And if you select only SQL server authentication, then only SQL server authentication is happening. So only one place it is verified. So whoever knows this username and password, they are all can connect. They are all can connect to these SQL servers. So that is what here. So when we compare to this SQL server authentication is less secure compared to Windows authentications mode. So Windows authenticated logins will be get created at a domain level by domain administrators. Windows level authentic. I mean that accounts, guys, in a real time in our projects, all that Windows authenticated logins will get created in the domain level. So those things will we are going to see that in our coming sessions, guys. I will show that we'll create we'll have that one domain server. There we can create some domain users and domain groups also. Yes, we are going to create the groups and we can grant access to the groups. Now we saw that Windows authenticated logins, SQL server authenticated logins, but we can create the groups also. We can grant access to a group also. We can create one login in this security, inside the logins, we can add one login here as a group, not like individual login names. We can create one group in a domain level, Windows group. That group we can add it here. That is what Active Directory groups. That Active Directory groups we can add it as a login in this logins folder. And whoever are the members in that group, they are all can access this database, this server. So now for suppose if I have 10 developers are there, 10 users are there, 10 logins are there, I want access to all the people. No need to add all those 10 over here. What we can do, we can request our domain administrators or whoever the responsible people, we can ask them to create a domain group. In that group we can ask them to add these 10 members to that group, and to that group we can add that group over here in these logins, so that we no need to add each and every individual usernames here. We can create one group and add all these users, all these Windows users to that group, and we add that group over here. But please remember that, guys, that is Active Directory groups and Active Directory logins. That groups only for the Windows logins, not for SQL server authenticated logins. We can't add these logins mic to the groups because that groups are there in a domain level. and these logins, mic is there in a Windows, I mean this SQL server level. So this mic and all not work with the groups. Okay, and we'll discuss that in detail at the time of cluster setup. At the time of SQL cluster, Windows cluster setup, I will show you how to create the groups, how to create some domain users, how to create one group, and we can use that group. We will grant access to that group everywhere, so that whoever the users are there in that group, they are all able to connect and access the SQL server. That's what we can see that in a later sessions. So now here guys, so we will be adding only the Windows authenticated logins to allow any user to connect to access. Okay, 1 minute guys. So just 1 minute. Okay, so now here so we will be adding only Windows authenticated logins to allow any user to connect and access SQL server, and this is what the best practice is guys. We always going to be add Windows authenticated logins, but there are the cases where we need to add SQL server authenticated logins as well. For the we have to create SQL server authenticated logins for applications. So applications always using SQL authenticated logins to connect to SQL server and its databases. Okay, we never encourage the users to use SQL authenticated logins to connect to SQL server and access the databases. So that means we never give these usernames, mic and password to anyone. And this mic and password is only for applications. That means for suppose I have our institute applications are there, and our institute applications are connecting to PostgreSQL database or else any SQL server database. Inside that I am going to set this mic and password, but I am not going to use this mic and password to connect to SQL server by using from this SSMS component accessing the databases. I don't do that. I am going to use this type of accounts, this type of logins, SQL server authenticated logins, just like mic. I am going to use these logins to connect it to the databases from applications. Not for this purpose guys. I am not going to use the mic to connect to the SQL server from this SSMS and doing some work. No, I don't do this. I don't want connected to the SQL server by using mic from my SSMS component. I don't do this. I am going to set up this account mic inside .NET application or inside JSP application or inside some front-end application. That applications will connect to this database. Okay, that's the reason we will be having the SQL authenticated logins. Okay, that is fine. So but if any person, let's say there is a developer and you want connected to the SQL server and its databases, and we are going to ask them what is your Windows authenticated ID, like your employee ID, and we will grant access to his employee ID. That's it. That means just like this, Sujit. So, and Sujit name is Sujit employee ID and CHRD employee ID, something like that. So we are going to add their employee IDs here with the domain name / employee ID, and then they can able to connect to this SQL server with their employee ID only. That means that is more secure. Okay. So this is what guys, what we have, SQL authenticated logins and Windows authenticated logins. Now we are going to see granting the access on the database. So grant access to one account, SQL authenticated, let's say SQL day 1 is one account. Let me create this account. So first thing is, first step is we have to create a login. So now I got this requirement guys. I got this requirement. What is that requirement? Grant access to the SQL day 1 account on this database, SQL ATM database. But the thing is, this account is not there. SQL day 1 is there here. Just check it out. Is the CHRD. Now I connected as a CHRD. SQL day 1 account is there, is not there. First we need to create that login. If it is already there, then we can grant access directly, but that login is not there. First we need to create that login here. This is one time activity. We are not going to create login again and again. And create the database user and map this user to the login. Whenever we create it, I think this is not required guys. These logins we already done by using that user mappings. So create a database user and map this user to the login, whatever we created in the first step. So now here this is one time activity in the particular database. So for this we no need to follow all these steps guys. We don't need to follow these steps. This is one of the way guys, but I don't want to take this step. This is very complicated step. So let's do this one. use the user mappings by using right click on the login, go to the properties. We already did this, guys. I'm just going to show that now here. User mappings, database mappings. Database mappings, and select the database. So same thing, I have the nodes. Select the database and select the DB roles and say OK. That's it. And grant access to the database user. So we can use this one of these following database roles, guys. Here you see DB reader means read access, and he can access this. He can run the select command against the tables, views and functions. DB writer, he can run this insert, update, deletes. And DDL admin, he can run create, alter, drop commands. DB owner means he can run DDL and DML operations. So add a database role to the database user. So now we are going to do this one quickly, and then we can move on to the next concept, guys. So let me create the SQL day 1 user. So SQL day 1, and I will put one password, guys. Okay, and I will share this password to that guy, and that guy actually they have to change this password in the first attempt, because in a real time we are going to select all these options so that they can change their password in the next login. I will set one password, one temporary password here, and they have to change that temporary password in the next login. Okay. Just like guys, when we forget that internet banking password, they will send one temporary password. As soon as when we logging into that temporary password, immediately it will ask, please change your password. It's similar to that one only. But anyway, I am not going to bother about these options in my computer. Let's remove. And this is what, guys, and say OK. If you say OK, this login will get created. But without saying OK, you can directly go to user mapping also. At the time of creating this login, you can go to the user mapping and select that database. In which database you want grant? Crystal Spiders 8_02. What access? Data reader. See that if you say OK, so now that login is get created, and also that login got the access on the SQL Crystal Spiders Institute 8 database. So similar steps, guys, that's it. But what is the purpose of each and most of these roles I mentioned here. And now here add a database role to the database user. So now here, guys, so okay, this is all not required, guys. It's all my old notes, and this is all old ways of doing this. That's fine. This is all now we are having all efficient ways to perform these steps. So now, guys, the next one is, so let me go back. Sir, what will happen after we created the login and we granted access on the user? What is going to be happening? That's what we need to know that. See this here, guys. This is my SQL server, right? This is interesting, guys. This is my SQL server. Okay, and inside SQL server we have this database. Observe this. This is quite interesting. This is a database. So now here, this is inside. We are having this is a database, and here outside of databases, guys, we have the security folder. Okay. Under this security folder we have the logins. Under this security folder we have the logins. And under these logins we are going to start creating all our logins. Let's say just now we created mic, right? We created mic. And we grant, so created login and we leave it, then fine. But we granted access to this same mic login, we granted access inside this database. So inside this database again we have one folder called security. Inside this database, guys, we have the folder called security, and inside this security folder we have another folder called users. So now when we grant access to this mic on this database, this mic login, you will get one user under this list. that Mike will have, he will get automatically one user. One user will be get created for this Mike here, mostly with the same name. It will be with the same name. One user will get created for this Mike. Okay, and this user is appear under the users, under this users. For suppose now we have another user, let's say SQL dev1, and we granted this access on this same database, then we will see one user with SQL dev1. Okay guys, and here we created one login chreddy-pc/Sujit, and for this user we will see same user, same with whatever login name is there, with the same login name we can see one user under this users, because we granted whoever is having access on this database, they will have one user under that database under security under users folder. Let me show you that. So now here we already granted access. So let's go to one database, SQL Crystal Spiders Institute 82 database, and inside this database we have the security folder, and inside that security folder we have the users folder. Go to that users, you will see that SQL dev is there, Mike is there. And if you add for suppose to this same 8 database, I am going to add Sujit also to this same database. I am going to grant access to this Sujit on that database. What is that database? 802 database. And if you don't grant access, no problem, still this user, see that user, same user will get created under this database without any roles. If you add a role, that will get access, and if you don't add role and say okay, only user will get created, but you will not have any access. So this is now, see, we got that user, we are able to see that same Sujit also here under this database, because Sujit, Mike, SQL dev1, these three are having access, or they can connect to this database, or they are having access to perform some activities in this database. See now DBO, guest, information schema, sys, this is all by default. You can see that, you can bother about this. By default we will see this is same for everywhere in all the databases. So this is one thing guys, when we add a login, when we grant access to a login on the database, inside the database one user will get created for that login. So whichever that, say now here we don't need to create multiple logins at a time. For one login there will be one user in that database. And now okay, that is what here guys. So this is what we are going to calling as, usually we can call this as logins. Usually we can call all these as logins. Whatever the database, under database whatever are there, we are going to say this is all DB users. This is all we are going to say database users guys. So now here the thing is, one thing guys we have to remember. So all these logins will have one, every login will have one ID guys. Mike is having one ID, SQL dev1 will have one ID, chreddy-pc/Sujit, he will have, this user will have one ID. Every user, every login will have one ID. That is what we are going to say system ID, SIDs. Every login will have associated with one SID. Every login will have an SID. It's not same guys, different unique SIDs. Every login will have, just assume login ID, every login will have one ID. Similar way every database user, so database users, every database user will have one ID, similar to that only. This is very important concept guys, these SIDs, because our people will see lot of issues around these SIDs when we are going to work in the clusters. So guys, I am going to send you one email today for feedback. So our people are chasing me to get that feedbacks. Okay, that's fine. Every user will have an SID. Will have one SID. Every user will have one SID guys. Let's say one SID. That means let's assume guys, this mic login will have one SID. Here this user will have different SID, guys, and these two will map to those two SIDs will map. And now here, so let's say this mic is having example, guys, example mic is having one SID 00001211. This is SID. Just assume, guys, mic is having this SID. Example, mic SID is, let's assume 001211, and here this mic under this here, guys, under this mic ID may be different, yeah, may be different, or maybe same, or maybe different, whatever it is, I don't care. So now here this is SID, this user SID is different. Let's say 1212. Okay, this actually these SIDs are very big. Okay, just for our understanding purpose, I written some number here, and these two will be mapped, guys. These two SIDs will be mapped. So now that means the SID, the login SID. So this login SID is mapped with this user SID. That's it. We can say that here the mic, the SID of the mic, login mic is mapped with the. So now here I am going to make that note, guys. This is very important. So now here the SID. Please remember this topic, and this topic will come again at the time of clusters. We will see some issues around these SIDs in the SQL always and availability groups. So now the SID of mic login will be mapped with the SID, with the SID of system ID. Sorry, usually it is a system ID, yeah, of user mic. This is what it is. So now the SID of mic login will be mapped with the SID of user mic. So this mic is different, guys. This mic is different. Don't assume these two are same. He is the user under database. He is the login under security. Okay. So that means these two SIDs are mapped now. So now like this we see every login will map with the. So now here we are going to understand these mappings. Okay. So now here let's say we have the list of the logins here. We have the database. Let's say this is one database. Okay. We are going to understand these mappings, guys. And this is another database. And this is another database. Very interesting concept, this one. Okay. Let's say this is the logins, right? Okay, this is the logins. So let's say here it is a mic login. Mic is one login. Okay, and Sujit is okay. I don't want write. Okay, let me type that one. And here SQL Dev one is one login, and CH Reddy -PC/Sujit is one login. Okay, so these are the three logins, guys. And now what I am going to do that I will add access to the mic on this database. When I add access to the mic on this database, what will happen? Mic will get one username here, and that means he will get one username mic here. That means this login SID will map to this user SID. That's it. And same mic I am going to create. I am going to grant access on this database also. Then he will get one more user here, mic, and here this login will map with this mic. And same thing here. It is now here. I will get one more mic here. And one login is mapping with the multiple users. But these users from different databases. So can I say that same mic can map to two users in database? No way, guys. No way. No. One login can map to only one user in one database. Okay, this is what. And now here, so this SQL dev is having access only on one database. So he will have map to this user under this database. SQL dev 1. And here these IDs may have different SIDs or same SIDs. Okay, it's not in our control. And see that here this is Windows authentication user, and this Windows authentication user I am going to grant access on this database, and he will get access. He will get the same username, whatever login name with the same username. We will see one user here, Sujit. Okay. And now here same, I am going to grant access to this Sujit on this database also, and we will see that same. See now here, whichever logins are having access on the databases, those logins will get one user in that database, and that user will be mapped to this login. Okay, this is what the final. How it will map? Because internally these logins and these users will have IDs. That IDs will be mapped. So we'll discuss in detail with these IDs. What will happen if these IDs are not mapping? Okay, and what is the issues? What is all that we'll discuss at the time of cluster setup. At the time in the clusters, this is one of the problem, one of the recommendations how we can grant access when we set up the databases in the clusters. Okay, guys. So this is what now we have logins and user mappings. Okay, fine. So now here, sir, how do we grant access on the specific database objects? Not on our entire database, only grant access to the specific objects. How do we grant access? That means here, I don't want grant access to the Mica and to read all the database tables in one of the database. Let's say I want grant access to the Mica and a Crystal Spider 06 database, but I don't want to give him access to read the data from all the databases, from all these tables in this database. I don't want to do that. So that means I want to give access to a login. I want to give access to either Sujit or whatever this is, guys, SQL dev 1 or else Mike or else Sujit. I want to grant access to these persons on the database only on a few objects. In one table only I want grant access to read the data, to insert the data, to update the data. So now here the thing is, when we grant access to the Sujit, let's go to the user mappings, maximize this one. See now here in this database DBA1, Sujit is having which access? Reader, writer, DDL admin. Reader means he can read the data from any table. So these roles represents, this is the data reader, means he can read the data from any table in that database. I have 20 tables, sir. He can read the data from the 20 tables. I have 50 tables. I created, sir, and I inserted some data, and he can read that 50 tables data. That means whenever he is trying to read the data from the table, he can read it because he is a reader. These roles represent, these roles will apply permissions on all the objects. He can, data writer means he can insert, update, delete the data. Which tables? Any table. Any table he can insert, update the data. I don't want to do that. I want grant access only on the specific objects. So that is where we are having, we are going to grant access to the users on the specific database objects, not the entire database level. How do we grant that access? That is where we are having grant access to a database user on the individual objects. So now here what I am going to do that. So far we have added these users to some roles. As soon as when we added some data reader role, writer role, all that we added for these users. So now I don't want to add a reader role, writer role, all that. So what I am going to do that? I will go to, so if I want grant access on the individual object level, then in that case what I will do that, I am going to go to these users in the database. Whichever the user is mapped to that login, I will go to that user, and to this user I will grant access only on a specific objects. That means he will get the same access. So now here, guys, we are going to see that one. So how do we grant? So now here, not granting the access on the entire database, granting access on an individual database objects. First, how do you do this? Create the database user, then map that Okay guys, so now we are going to see that how to grant access to a user on the particular database. Let's follow this guys, grant access to the database objects. So now we are going to follow this one first. So it's very simple guys, create the database user, then map to it a login. So how do you create a database user, sir? We don't need to create it, automatically it will create the user, okay, when we are going to create that. So now see here guys, so for which user you want grant access? So for which login you want grant access? For which login you want grant access on the one database? For suppose for Sujit I want grant access on the SQL 602 database. On this database I want grant access to Sujit only on a one table, that too employee table only. On this employee table I want give him select access, that is what read access, that's it. So now see, observe this guys, my requirement here is I want grant access to Sujit on SQL Crystal Spiders 0602 database, 0602 database for Sujit, that too only on a one table only one table, that is employee table. So now I am going to follow, this is same way, but this is, we have different ways of granting access guys, okay. So now I am going to follow the same way. This is all what this is one of the way, and you can follow this the same way guys. How you granted access? So same way you can follow that. How do you follow that? Right click on the Sujit, go to the properties of this login and go to the user mapping, and which database you want grant. So now in this database I want grant, and select that database. So now here the thing is, on which database? Crystal Spiders 0602. Crystal Spiders 0602 database I want grant access. Don't select any of these roles guys. If you select these roles, what will happen? You will get access on the entire database level. And say OK. When you say OK, in this database, inside this database, one user will create. See that this is all the users what created under these databases guys. You see that you can change this username also, no problem. But usually we will leave these usernames as it is. This is the username will get created under this database automatically. Then go to this user and grant access to this user on that specific table. That's it. So here we are not going to add any of these roles when we are granting access. When you want access to a login only on the specific objects, then don't select this. So anyway, this is one way, and the next way is the best way. Another best way is as per these notes what I shown here, as per these notes. So now create the database user and then map that user to that login. So how do you create? Go to the database, go to this database, go to here, go to the security, and here we are not having Sujit user. So we need to create Sujit user here. Right click on the user and say new user. What is that username here guys? Sujit. So you can type complete Sujit, or else you can type any name, that's not a big deal. So I always prefer to give same name, chreddy-pc/Sujit. You can give different name also in username, no problem. And the login name should be the same guys. Login name should be, what is that login name? It should be the same. Cap letter, small letter, it doesn't matter, but there should not be any spelling mistakes. Sujit. Or else if you don't know the login name and I forgot sir, then you can click this browse button and click this browser. It will show all the available logins in that SQL server. You see all these logins are there. This is what my login. Select that and say OK. And say OK. So now we got that login. That's it guys. So now we are going to create this user and we are going to mapping that user with this login. Both are going to be done at the same time. We are going to create this username and we are going to mapping that user to this login. This is what guys, we are going to create this. So now we are doing it in a reverse way. We are going to create the user and at the same time we are mapping that user with this login. Now we are inside this database guys. Now inside this database we are creating this user and we are mapping that user to this login. That's what we are doing it now. And at the same time when I am going to create and mapping that user to this login, and at the same time, so if you can go to membership, it is asking what type of access you want grant. So this is like a same roles. If you say reader, he can read the data from all the tables. If you say data writer, he can perform insert, update, delete on all the tables. If we say DDL admin, he can create the new objects and he can run the alter statements and grab commands and truncate commands. That's what. So I don't want grant any of these database level roles. Let's go to the securables, and here I'm going to grant access only on the specific objects. Let's say I'm going to grant access to this guy on the employee table. So how did you grant access? Now here we can click on search button. Just click on this search button, and here which tables you want grant access? Specific objects. Which type of objects? Tables. Select that, okay, and click object type. Click object type and the tables, select that tables and say OK, and click browse. And here you select that table name, guys. This is what employee table. Select that employee table and say OK, and say OK. So now we selected employee table here finally. And on this employee table, what access we want grant? See here it is alter, control, delete, insert, select, right, update. Which one? So now I will select our actual operations. Select, that means I am going to grant select operations. That means he can able to read the data from employee table only. And update, he can do the updates inside this table only. And insert, he can insert the records only in that table only. Delete, he can delete the records only in this table only. And say OK. That's it, guys. That's it. So now see that we created that user. See that we created this user and we mapped this user to that login, and also we granted access to this user only on the employee table. It's very simple, guys. That's done. If you can go back to that properties of this login, security under the logins, you can see that it will automatically mapped. If you can right click, Sujit, go to the properties and go to the user mappings. Here you see that automatically this is the user we created. Automatically it is showing up here. This is the user we created in this database, and this user is having access on only on the employee table, but not on any roles. Okay. So let's try to connect. How do you connect, guys? Again, we need to open SSMS component under Sujit credentials. Let me open SSMS component. Where is that? SSMS, and shift button and right click. Shift and right click and say run as a different user, because Sujit is a Windows administrator account, right? So we have to pass that chred-pc/Sujit and the password. Forget the password. I forgot the password. Let me try with my So now it is opening SSMS component with the Sujit. So and now it is opening now. It is opening the SSMS component with the Sujit credentials, and from there I will connect to the server, and let me try. Let me see that whether he is able to access employee table or not. Yeah, it is going to take some time. Okay. So now let's try this access, guys. Today. And tomorrow we'll see that how to, some more things about this granting the access in tomorrow's session. Yeah. So now I'm connecting to this Sujit by using the Sujit. I'm connecting to this SQL server. Guys, looks like my system becoming slow here. Yeah, because so it is connecting now, guys. Just give me a minute. It is connecting. Let it come, and we can test this access for Sujit on EMP table in that Crystal Spiders 02 database, and we'll test it, and then we can wind up the session for today, and tomorrow we'll continue some more stuff from this granting access. And also we can see that is the server roles. Server roles are there. Usually the database administrators will have sysadmin role. How to grant access as a sysadmin role. Okay, guys, so here it is taking time. Wait for a minute, guys. Definitely it will open. It's coming up, but not sure why it is. It looks like it is get stuck up somewhere, somehow. Yeah, looks like, guys, this SSMS is not getting open. It is stuck up. Let me close this one, the one with the CHRD account. I closed that one. one here is that one. Guys, yeah, here it is connected now with the Sujit account. Let's go to that Crystal Spiders 02 database, and in this database we have the employee table. See, now we are able to see, this guy is able to see only employee table. Actually in this database we have so many tables, but because he is having access only an employee table, so he is able to access that table only. Okay, now he is able to read the data. Okay, so this is what, guys. So now he is able to read, but his system is a little bit slow. So now he is able to read the data, and he can, just like this, he can able to insert the data, update the data, and he can modify the data. So this is what, guys, granting the access to the users on the database level and the each individual objects level, and we can grant in the same way to the SQL authenticated users also. Yes, to the SQL authenticated users also we can grant object level access. So today's session, guys, we understand how to create the SQL authenticated users, and we saw that how to grant access to a new user on the database. We added the database roles, and we saw that how to add access on the specific objects. For example, an employee table, we added select, insert, update, and delete access. Okay, guys, and we understand, along with that we understand what is the user and what is the logins versus database users, the mapping and SIDs, all that we saw that. And the next session we are going to see that continuation to the security server roles, all that we can see that. Okay, guys, see you on tomorrow. Bye.